All right. All right, let's get started. So to help wake up the core muscles and make your spinal muscles a little stronger, sit forward so you're not leaning into the chair back. Since we're not used to doing that, to sitting sort of unsupported, the spinal muscles might start to fatigue. When they do, then go ahead and lean back. But the more you can sit forward and train those muscles to hold you upright, the better and the stronger they'll get. So let's just start with a little breathing and centering. So the idea of picking that, blanket and chair height is to get that 90-degree angle of your shin bones to your thigh bones, 90 degrees from the thighs to the torso as well. All right. Let's take a moment to tune into your breath. And watch your breath. As soon as you tune into the breath, it tends to go deeper. So even exaggerate that just a smidge more. Let your breath go even deeper. And while you're watching your breath, also make your posture as tall as possible by pulling your two sit bones and your tailbone and pubic bone downward and simultaneously lengthen up and out through the crown of the head. So you feel like your spine is growing a little bit taller. Don't pull those two directions too much or you'll make it hard to breathe. So you have to find that Goldilocks moment, not too much, not too little, but just right. Right. We'll start with some movement now in sync with the breath. As many of the movements sync up with the breath cues I'm giving, the more newer the movement or more challenging the movement, it'll be difficult to sync up the breath. You can just use my breath cues to remind you to not hold the breath and to breathe. But all the movements that are easy enough for you to sync up, sync up. So we'll start with the hands on the lap, palms down, exhale. And on the inhale, roll the palms up. And then we're just going to go bigger and bigger. And the largest movement that you can do, but slowly working our way there. So that's your inhale movement is to open. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the lap. I'm also getting my spine involved, a slight back bend on the inhale and a relaxed, released spine on the exhale. Exhale, and your shoulders need to be fine. So only taking the range of motion on your arms that feels fine on your shoulders. You take the arms up in front if comfortable, or out to the sides. Let's do a couple more like that. And again, just your range of motion, pausing it wherever you need to be. All right, we're going to do some movements of the spine now. So that kind of back bend, forward bend, we'll emphasize that just a little bit more by using the hands toward the knees and a rounded spine. You can look down, that'll be your exhale. Slide the hands back toward the hips, roll the collarbones up for your inhale. Exhale, relax. Inhale, emphasize the back bend. Let's do a couple more like that. And then let's go into some twists. Slide one hand toward the knee, the other hand to the hip, and that takes you into a little twist. Back to neutral on the inhale. Exhale, twist to the other side. And you can take this deeper by crossing that front hand over to the opposite knee, and the back hand can slide further back to the chair. Inhale to center. Exhale. Inhale to center. So if your back tends to talk to you, you might not want to take the deeper version. Just stick with that gentler one that we started with. And if the twist is comfortable for you, next time you head into the twist, we'll stay there. Pull both sit bones down into the chair and lengthen up out through the crown of the head. And pull the bottom tips of your shoulder blades in toward each other. And see that you're not leaning over and you're not looking down or looking up. Keep the bottom of the jawline parallel to the floor, approximately. Keep breathing. Right, and just to ensure that you're not pulling yourself too deep, you should be able to let go and your spine still holds. If when you let go, you kind of spring back, you're pulling yourself into the twist from your arms instead of letting your spinal muscles do that. So as you let go, your spinal muscles should hold on. The hands down just support those muscles a little bit. Let's come back to center. Inhale. You can take the arms up on that inhale if you like. Again, the range of motion that's comfortable for you. And we'll twist over to the other side. Pick the twist that you can easily hold for a breath or more. If it's not comfortable to hold, just keep going back and forth dynamically in and out of the twist, or stay at center, and you can do those rounded spine back bends that we did prior. Long spine, the tailbone and pubic bone pulled down, your two sit bones pulled down, and you're lengthening up and out through the crown of the head. Bringing the bottom tips of your shoulder blades together, checking that head alignment. You're not looking down or up. Broaden across the collarbones. Keep breathing. All right, and then we'll unwind and come back to neutral, and we'll go right into those kind of cat-cow movements, a rounded spine and a little back bend. All right. All right, and then we'll take laterals. Let's start with the hands on the hips. Again, lengthen the spine. Inhale. And on your exhale, lean to one side. And very gently, if your back tends to talk to you, inhale back up. Just barely going over, and do the back bend more from the shoulder or the upper spine, not the waistline area. So you're going to feel like you got a big weightlifter belt here, and you're just going to take the shoulders. Otherwise, you can lean a little more into it if your back is feeling pretty good today. And if you'd like to stay in the pose or go deeper, you can slide a hand down your chair, the chair leg, or there may be a rung you can land on, or bring your block in there. That back sit bone likes to lift up. You're going to pull it back down toward the floor beneath that hip. And you can emphasize this side stretch by adding that arm movement. Keep your torso facing the wall, and the torso is going to like to turn down toward the floor. See if you can turn it up a little bit. Keep breathing. That back sit bone pulling down. And we'll stay here just another couple breaths. Make the spine a little longer, even on that underside. Pull out of that so it's not congested in that bottom half of the spine. And then inhale, bring that arm back up, your torso up, and exhale when you come up to upright or lower that arm. And then we'll take it over to the other side. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, over you go, sliding your hand down to find your resting place, which could be keeping the hand on the hip, the chair, part of the chair, like the leg or something. Or if you've got a block there, come all the way down to the block. Back sit bones moving down toward the floor. Add the arm if comfortable. Nice deep breaths here. Watching that make the spine longer, even on the underside of the spine. See if you can pull out of that a little bit without pulling your shoulders up. Keep your shoulders away from the ears. Another breath here. And then come on back up. Exhale that arm down. Back to our cat-cow movements just to counter our spine after those laterals. All right. All right, let's come down to the legs. So let's start with the towel or blanket or your slider under just one foot. Pick a foot, any foot. And we'll slide the leg out and back in. Out and in. Some of the time, reach the heel out and flexing the foot and pull your toes back. And some of the time, keep the toes down to stretch across the top of the ankle. And of those two movements, see if you can tell which one your body needs, as long as it's not painful. Do that one more than the other one. Let's take it out one more time and hold there. And spread your toes wide apart. Curl the toes forward. Pull the toes back toward your knee. And we'll circle the ankle around like you're drawing a circle with your toes. A couple of times in one direction and then a couple of times in the other direction. All right. And then we'll start to take the leg out toward the side, different spokes out to the side, starting to get into the inner thigh. And going out just as far as comfortable for you and as your chair allows. If you've got an armchair, be able to take your leg all the way around to that side, but just doing the best with whatever props you've got there. And then back it back up to maybe one of the halfway spokes about in the middle, sort of off to the corner there, and hold right there. And again, we'll point and flex, circles, both directions. And we're going to windshield wiper the leg. So roll the leg from the hips so the toes go down and back up and maybe even a little bit over to the other side. Over, side to side, windshield wiper. Doesn't go all the way over. So it's a halfway windshield wiper. And then come back up to the front. And we will switch over to the other side. So if you have a towel or a blanket, switch it over. And then as you're ready, going out and in again. Sometimes the toes staying down, sometimes the heel reaching out, and the foot is flexed. So sometimes pointing, sometimes flexing. All right, and then hold it out there. The next time you go out, stay and really spread those toes wide apart. Curl the toes forward, pull the toes back, circles, both directions. 2-3 times in each direction, and then start to head out on those spokes out to the side. And just as your range of motion that feels comfortable for your hips and legs. And then back off toward one of those middle spokes. And we'll hold there and do a point and flex, some circles, both directions. All right, and then bring it back in and out as you work your way back up to the top. All right. So then let's take the legs a little bit wide apart, feet wide. And you don't need your feet, both your feet on sliders or anything. We're going to roll one knee in and then roll it out. Just really getting into the hip rotators. In and out on one side. And then the other side. And this works best if you're sitting more toward the edge of the chair, so your leg can kind of drop down in front of the chair. All right. See how those rotators work. So the our bodies aren't really used to rotating the thigh bone in the socket like that. We mostly just sit and stand and walk, and the leg just stays kind of in this this plane. So start to get it moving around in the other planes is good. So if you think about it, we only did the spokes on that top corner. So we're going to turn off to one side of the chair. So turn toward the corner or all the way to the side. If you don't have an armchair, an arm in the way, you can turn all the way to the side. And you're going to sit right at the edge of the chair so that you can drop your leg down in front of the chair. And this foot in front of the chair is going to be on your slider, and start to move that knee back to go under the hip. So you can see my knee is more aligned under the hip. And then as comfortable as allowed, start to slide that heel further back, or that foot further back, taking this leg as straight as it's willing to go today. That's a deep stretch in the front of that thigh, and then release. So we'll just go back and forth, just taking that leg back as much as comfortable for you, and release. And we're going to hit these spokes on this side. So you can take your leg forward, out, straight out to the side, and in, and any of those back spokes, comfortable for you. And you can turn your foot. So the knee is your governor. Your knee has to feel completely fine in all of these movements. So either don't take the leg all the way straight, or turn the foot anyway so that your knee is happy. So sometimes when the hip is tight, the knee takes the brunt of the stretch. We don't want that. We want the hip to get the hip loose. So we're only picking movements that the hip is able to handle. If the hip is too tight, it's going to say, hey, I can't do it. Knee, you do it. And we don't want that. We want the knee to do it. All right. So playing with those spokes, and even include that straight back one as far back as comfortable for you. And then pick one of those. I'm going to do this one so I think it's easier to see, but you can pick any of those spokes, and you're going to roll the heel down and up. So you can see that's rolling from my hip. Hip is rolling forward and then out, and my heel goes down and up. And that can be on any of those angles. That one is off the camera, so that's why I need to do that further back one. So, but you can pick any of those angles. All right, and then just relax that back leg, and we're going to walk it around to the other side. So you're sitting right at the edge of the chair. You're either at that corner or all the way to the side, and that front leg is going to be, the foot's going to be on your slider, and you're at the edge of the chair, so that knee can drop down in front of the chair. And just hold on to the chair however you like, and then start to move that knee back. See if you can get it to come all the way back in line with that hip. Just look down and see, there's your hip, there's your knee. And then to deepen the stretch, you slide that foot further back, as far back as comfortable for you, and you bend and straighten that back leg. It's just as straight as it's willing to go today. And then any of those other spokes from the out toward the side and toward the back. And again, watch the knee. So your knee is gonna, if that knee starts to feel stretched or pulled, that's a sign that that movement is tight in the hip. So back off. We want the hip to tell us what it can do, and not relying on the knee to take it. All right, we got that hip pretty warmed up. Now pick one of those spokes. This one, I won't be able to do one up there. And rolling the heel up and down from the hip. You can slide and maybe choose a different one as you're doing this. And every slight little change gets into a different set of those muscle fibers. So you get as many of those muscle fibers worked out as comfortable for you. Let's come back to face the front, and you'll put both feet on your blanket or towel, or 2 paper plates one for each foot. Again, sitting forward toward the edge, you can hang on back behind you. Heels down, you're going to push the heels out and in. Heels out and in. Legs going as straight as they're willing to go. And then we're going to windshield wiper. Oh, I forgot to windshield wiper that other leg. Windshield wiper the feet. And we forgot to windshield wiper the second leg. So the leg that you did second, let's just do a couple extra windshield wipers on that. All right, and then let's take it in and out a time or two with flexing and then pointing. Toes stay down. Heels down, toes up, toes down. You can deepen the stretch across the ankle by keeping your toes down, and see if those heels will lift just a smidge off the floor, and that'll deepen the stretch across the top of the ankle. My ankles are pretty flexible, so I can actually get my heels up, but most folks, or many folks, find that quite difficult. And if you've had any ankle sprains or strains, there's probably extra scar tissue in there. It'll make those ankle movements even more difficult. All right, we're gonna take some forward bends now. So the inhale movement will be the arms going up. Again, your range of motion, arms as high as they want and however they want, in the front or out to the sides. And your choices for your exhale, your forward bend, are to land elbows on your thighs, and you're folding at the hip hinge, not rounding. So elbows to thighs, or if comfortable, you can slide your hands down the shins as far down as comfortable. They might reach the toes or the floor. Let's do those movements. Inhale, rise up, arms up. Exhale, over you go, whichever stopping point is comfortable for you. Inhaling up, exhaling over. We'll do this another couple of times, but if you feel comfortable staying down, feel free. Stay down and keep breathing. Otherwise, go back up and down another time or two. So that compression of the belly on the thighs is kind of a nice massage, and you breathe into that. So it's nice if comfortable to stay down. I know it does kind of create folks who have acid reflux don't like that one. So you just keep coming up and down, and you may not even want to go down very far. All right, let's lift the heel of one foot and bring your hands to the thigh. And we're going to start to bring the toes up off the floor. And you can hold behind the back of the thigh if comfortable. Collarbones roll up. And then we're going to lift the heel, stretching that leg. And we'll bend and straighten it a couple times. It doesn't have to go all the way straight, just as comfortable for you. Mine's not going all the way straight. Doesn't matter. And then go back down, place that foot down. We'll come to the other side. Slide the foot back, raise the heel. And then we're going to start to bring the toes up off the floor, holding back behind the thigh, not rounding. So keep your collarbones broad, lean back a little bit, and then start to raise that heel. Bend and straighten that front leg just as straight as it wants to go. All right, and back down. And we'll do the first side again. And this time we're going to take it a little bit out to the side, kind of kicking it out to the side. And 3 of those. Back in and down. Other side, same thing. And out to the side. About 3 of those, and back to neutral. All right, we're going to stretch both legs out. You're at the edge of the chair, stretch both legs out, and we're going to push into the chair seat behind you as though to lift your hips up out of the chair, and then release 3 of these. Press and release, little arm strengthener for you. All right, and then a back bend. You can bend your knees and push into the chair to roll your collarbones up. Head goes up if comfortable for you and your neck. And take a breath or more there. Really emphasize squeezing the bottom tips of the shoulder blades in toward each other and in toward the heart to emphasize that back bend. And then release back to neutral. All right, let's take a sun salutation. Exhale here. On the inhale, the arms go up. Again, your range of motion. Exhale, that forward bend of choice. Elbows can land on the thighs, or you can go all the way over. Now bring your hands behind the back of one leg as you come up, and we'll take that sort of lunge, and then place that foot back down. Stretch your legs out. Push into the back of the chair to lift the hips. And release. Bend the knees, take a little back bend. And then a shoulder opener. You can stretch your elbows back toward the wall behind you and then take the arms up like goalpost arms. And to deepen the stretch, drop your wrists back as though to drop the wrists back behind the elbows toward the wall behind you. Nice back bend and shoulder opener. And then release. You're going to fold over the legs. Come all the way back up, arms up. And exhale back to start. And then we'll do the other side, the lunge on the other leg. Inhale back up. Exhale your forward fold as far forward as you like. Bring your hands behind the other leg. Come on up and kick it out. Lunge on the other side. And back down and both feet out. Hands back behind you. Pushing into the chair for a little back bend or a little arm strengthener. Then bend the knees, and now we'll do the back bend. Really emphasize the shoulder blades coming in toward each other. Head goes up if comfortable for you in your neck. Couple breaths here. All right, and then release, and we'll do that shoulder opener. Arms up, goalpost arms. Drop the elbows back a little bit more. Then the wrists drop back. Breathe. And then fold over the legs, exhaling. All the way up, arms up. And exhale back to start. All right, let's turn to one side, again, either to the corner or all the way over. And sitting toward the front edge of your chair so that this leg in the front of the chair can drop down, and pick any of those back spokes that's comfortable for you to hold for a little bit. So the leg needs to be completely comfortable, the hips comfortable. And then we'll turn toward the other knee. Your one leg is bent, the other leg is straight as it's willing to go. So turn toward the bent knee. Exhale and raise one or both arms up for warrior one. You can do the goalpost arms again. Sometimes we call that cactus pose arms, and really emphasize the shoulder blades squeezing in, your collarbones roll up, your head can go up. So you're emphasizing a back bend in the upper part of the spine where your shoulder blades are, not in the waistline area or lower back. And then turn toward me. Take your arms out wide for warrior two. Here you want to make sure your shoulders aren't up by the ears. Relax them down, but still squeeze the bottom tips of the shoulder blades in and broaden across those collarbones. You're going to turn your head to look over your front fingertips. And the torso is not leaning forward. Make sure your torso is perpendicular so the sit bones pull down, crown of the head pulls up. Nice tall spine. All right, and then we'll drop the arms down, and that front elbow is going to go to the thigh, the other hand to the hip for side angle stretch or flank stretch. Wait, if you want a deeper stretch in this side waist, you can use that arm. Let that arm, that top arm, let go of the hip and stretch it up. You can go all the way over till the arm is by your ear, or pause it anywhere on the way up. Squeeze those shoulder blade tips in toward each other a smidge. Broaden across the collarbone so you're not all rounded and crowded here. Really open across the top of the chest there. Another breath. And then put that top arm in reverse back to the hip as you come up. Come on back up to warrior two. Arms out wide. Turn your head to look over the front fingertips. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Your next exhale, bring your back arm to join the front arm, pointing in the direction of your front knee. And then both arms go up, goalpost arms, or you can let the elbows go straighter. Find that back bend right at the shoulder blade area. And then relax the arms back down to the knee, bending the back leg. Just relax and let's face forward. And we'll pause here and take a cat-cow. A rounded spine and a little back bend. Back and forth. All right, let's go do the other side. So switch your slider over, turn your torso over. So we're on the other side. That front leg again is going to, you're sitting far enough forward that you can drop that front leg down in front of the chair and picking any of those back spokes that you'll be able to hold that leg for some time. And that back leg is as straight as it's willing to go. The other leg is bent. You'll turn toward your bent knee and bring your hands there. Get your spine nice and tall. Sit bones pulling down, crown of the head up. And then on an inhale, goalpost arms. Emphasize the back bend right at the shoulder blades by squeezing the bottom tips of the shoulder blades in toward each other and forward toward the heart. And then keep that as you stretch your arms as high up as they want to go, as straight as they want to go. Another breath here. And then turn the torso toward the screen and drop the arms down shoulder height. Turn your head toward your front fingertips. Make sure your shoulder blades are not up by the ears. Shoulder blade tips are in toward each other. The collarbones are broad. You've got a nice tall spine that's perpendicular to the floor and not the leaning tower of Pisa. Bring it back upright. And then on an exhale, lower the arms. The front arm's going to drop down onto the elbow, the other hand to the hip. You stay right here, working the spine and upper chest is nice and open and facing sideways, not rolling down toward the floor. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, use that back arm, bring it up and over, reach into the back heel for the outer heel for a nice stretch that'll go into that side. Make sure you're not crowding the underside, the spine, so a little length out of that bottom half of the spine. Nice deep breaths here. All right, we'll put that top arm in reverse. Come back up to warrior two, arms up shoulder height, torso perpendicular. Turn your head to face your front fingertips. Breathe here. On your next exhale, you'll bring the back arm to join the front arm. Then inhale the arms up. Goalpost arms, emphasize that back bend. And exhale the arms down. Turn to face the front. Ooh. It's amazing how deep you can get these stretches in a chair. Sometimes they feel deeper in a chair than standing free in the room. Let's do some cat-cows here to release any tension that might have been pulled into the hips or spine or wherever. Different people will pull in tension in different areas just based on where their own body has got tightness or more flexibility or where they're strong, etc. So everybody feels the poses differently, which is why everybody needs to take care of their own body. So let's come down to the legs, both feet on sliders. Sit toward the edge of the chair and both legs going out and in. You can point or flex or whatever you want to do. And you can take the legs out wider if you like. You can turn the feet in and turn the feet out. Just kind of really to loosen into the hips that we worked and kept them in that hold. Kept them in that pose for a long time. So just want to rest them out of that. Let's do one leg at a time now and drop the leg in and out. I like the foot on the slider so I can slide my foot around because I really wanted the hip to be loose. So if you plant the foot in place and just move, you may not get the hip as loose as if you allow your foot to go sliding all over. All right, that's enough for that leg. Let's do it on the other side. A little out, a little in. Whatever feels like it's helping to loosen your hip. I do have a student who said they get the hip nice and loose, keeping the foot in place. So you can try it. I happen to like my foot sliding all over. All right. And then come back to neutral and both feet out and in again at the same time. All right. And then some cat cows here. And not emphasizing the back bend so much. So go just a little bit past neutral for a tiny back bend and more relaxed spine on your exhale. All right. And we'll relax the arms a little bit. Just float the arms up, bend and straighten the arms, fingertips coming to the shoulders. Exhale and inhale. Lower the arms, the elbows just a little bit, but still the same thing. Exhale and inhale. Bring the arms in front. Exhale and inhale. The elbows dropped closer in toward the body. Relax the shoulders more. And then just relax the hands on the lap and we'll roll the shoulders around. Not your biggest range of motion, just nice and gentle. Roll the shoulders in one direction and then go in the other direction. All right, and then we'll lean forward and drop one arm down at your side and just circle the arm around in one direction, kind of like the arm is the stirring stick for a big pot. And then go in the other direction. And then come on up and over, and let's do the other side. Drop that arm down. Just shake it out a little bit, and then feel like that you got to stir all the way around the outside of the pot. In one direction, then stir in the other direction. And relax. Come on back up, and we'll do that cat cow again. And this time we're going to emphasize the neck a little bit more. So whatever feel what your head normally does. And then we're going to add just a little bit more movement to that. So when you come up, maybe just tip the head just a millimeter more. And when you drop down, just a millimeter more. So the head does just a smidge more movement. If comfortable for you, if your neck tends to hold tension, you may not want to do that little bit of extra movement. See if it feels okay for you. And then sitting tall, sitting upright, we're going to do just the slightest head, like you're saying yes, very slowly. And then we'll say no, very slowly. And not your full range, so don't go all the way over, but just part way over. So it's not a big no. And then back to center. And we're going to do yes again, but even smaller than you did before. So barely take the nose up and down. All right. And then you're welcome to stay sitting forward in the chair. We're going to just relax now. So if you want to slide back, if you want to try not using the chair back, scooch way back so your back just feels that the back is there. Depends on the exact architecture of your chair, but you can just feel it there. Sometimes that's just enough for this body to be like, oh, okay, I'm supported, but the muscles still work. And then if you need to, you can lean back. So just an extra or just another couple minutes of working those spinal muscles. So let's just scan the body and see if you can feel where in your body do you feel that you worked the most. This will be different for everyone. It just depends on which muscles are weak in your body. They're going to feel work the most. So it might be ankles for somebody. It might be the neck for somebody else. It might be the shoulder blades. We did a lot of work on the shoulder blades today. It might be the hips, might be your lower back. So just take your mind there and then imagine you have lung tissue there and could actually breathe into that place. Let your breath go deeper, and if possible, lengthen your exhale. If you can make your exhale last a second or two longer. And imagine that exhale is releasing the tension out of that area. So you inhale and imagine you kind of expand and create opening and space in that area. And then you exhale out any tension. And if you have another place on your body, feel free to move to that place, even if the first place still has a little tension. So you want to sort of take it from say it's a 10, a 9 or a 10, bring it to an 8, 7 or 8, bring it down a point or two. And if there's a third area, go there, or you can go back to the first. And now go to the area of the body that feels the most relaxed. And this is going to be different for everybody. It could be your pinky fingers, could be your pinky toes, could be your tongue. I mean, it could be anything. What place on your body feels the softest? I like to turn my palms up because my palms tend to feel the softest. And then just imagine you have the ability to spread that softness or take that softness and put it anywhere you want. So feel how soft, wherever your mind went, as the most relaxed place. Imagine you can just take that relaxation that's there and put it someplace else. Maybe one of the other places that we breathed into a moment ago. Sort of sharing the wealth. All right, and you're more than welcome to stay in your relaxed place and continuing to move the relaxation from one area to the other, or breathing in a tight place and releasing it. I'm gonna say thank you and namaste.